Like many public figures before her, Madonna performed an act of profound kindness when she welcomed a young boy from a difficult background into her family 16 years ago. That child went from the confines of an orphanage to the comfort of an elegant home. The natural question people ask is what his life has looked like since joining Madonna, and especially now that he has reached young adulthood, what path he is following. In this video, you will discover everything worth knowing about the vulnerable little boy from those earlier years. Stay until the very last moment to hear the complete account. Madonna's choice to adopt David Banda in 2006 came at a time when her professional life was at its height. She was recognized worldwide as a pop legend celebrated for her songs, her film roles, and her outspoken support of numerous social issues. While her artistic success continued, she also deepened her commitment to humanitarian efforts, with particular attention to the continent of Africa. Around that period, she grew especially concerned with Malawi, one of the planet's most impoverished nations, where extreme poverty and insufficient medical services were everyday realities. The suffering she witnessed among the children there touched her deeply, and she decided to create an organization called Raising Malawi, whose mission was to assist orphans and at-risk youth throughout the country. On one of her trips to Malawi, she stopped at an orphanage known as Home of Hope. It was inside those walls that Madonna first noticed David Banda, a tiny, delicate boy who had just passed his first birthday. David had entered the world in a remote village with almost no modern amenities. Tragically, his mother died soon after delivery because complications arose and the family lacked funds for proper treatment. His father, Johann Banda, earned a meager living as a farmer and already struggled to feed his other children. Believing the infant would have a brighter future elsewhere, Johann reluctantly left David at the orphanage. When Madonna met him, the boy was fighting pneumonia along with other serious illnesses that threatened his life. In that weakened state, Madonna felt an instant bond and became determined to offer him medical care, stability, and affection. She resolved to adopt him. The adoption itself proved anything but simple. Malawi lacked clear legal guidelines for foreign adoptions at the time, which created numerous obstacles and delays. Early on, certain human rights organizations and press sources criticized Madonna, claiming she was using her fame to bypass normal procedures. Others worried that removing David from his birth country would separate him from his heritage. On top of those concerns, gossip circulated that the adoption was mainly a publicity move rather than a sincere expression of care. The decision to bring David home in 2006 generated intense debate. Reports indicated that Madonna, or her representatives, would appear in court the following day to advance the paperwork, yet not everyone approved of the plan, insisting that orphans should remain with extended relatives whenever possible. Despite the widespread judgment, Madonna stood by her choice. She answered critics by explaining that her only wish was to secure essential medical treatment, love, and possibilities for David, things he urgently needed, and that she would always nurture his ties to Malawi. In the middle of the media storm, David's father Johann publicly endorsed the adoption. He reminded everyone that he had placed his son in the orphanage because he could not afford to raise him properly. Johann felt confident that Madonna could give David opportunities far beyond his own reach and that she would raise him with warmth and guidance. With Johann's blessing, Madonna's determination, and eventual approval from Malawian officials, the adoption became official in 2008, 2 full years after David first entered her care. Continue watching as we share every aspect of young David's story. David Banda entered the world on September 24, 2005, in the modest village of Lapunga, Malawi. His family lived in very basic circumstances. His father Johann worked the land to survive. Sadly, David's mother died only weeks after giving birth because of postpartum complications and the absence of affordable medical help. Left alone to support several children on almost nothing, Johann chose to entrust David to an orphanage in the hope that professionals could offer the care he himself could not provide. The boy was placed at Home of Hope in Chinji. Even within the orphanage, David faced severe health struggles from infancy. Doctors identified pneumonia, a disease that further weakened his small body and made his future uncertain. The staff did everything possible with the limited medicines and equipment available. In 2006, Madonna arrived in Malawi on behalf of Raising Malawi. During that trip, she encountered David at the orphanage and immediately felt driven to give him a secure and healthy future. First, however, she needed to complete the adoption, a process that ballooned into an international controversy and nearly derailed her efforts. Madonna's resolve to adopt David was tested repeatedly. The situation attracted global headlines, many of which contained inaccurate or exaggerated claims. Madonna refused to back down. She contacted every required official and insisted on proper documentation. The legal wrangling dragged on for nearly 2 years. Had her motives been anything less than genuine, most people would have walked away. After all, she could easily have chosen an orphanage in a country with smoother procedures or selected a healthier child. In the end, her perseverance paid off. The adoption was finalized, and David began receiving the medical attention and stability he needed. He quickly settled into Madonna's household, gaining access to schooling, healthcare, and experiences unimaginable in his birthplace. Following the 2008 finalization, David Banda opened an entirely new chapter. He began maturing under the guidance of one of the planet's best-known women. Picture stepping into a home where hunger and want no longer exist. That was the reality David discovered. He joined a growing family. Madonna already had 2 biological children, lured Leon and Rocco Ritchie from earlier relationships. Shortly after David arrived, she adopted Mercy James, also from Malawi. Later still, she welcomed twin girls, Stella and Esther, likewise Malawian. Growing up surrounded by siblings of varied origins fostered in David a strong feeling of family and togetherness. Lourdes, the oldest, acted as a protective big sister. Rocco, nearer to David in age, became a close playmate throughout childhood. Mercy, arriving soon after David, formed a unique connection with him because of their shared Malawian heritage. The younger twins rounded out the household and helped create a warm, supportive atmosphere as David matured. Living within Madonna's orbit also meant constant public visibility. As the child of a global superstar, David accompanied his mother to glamorous gatherings, traveled extensively, and experienced privileges vastly different from his earliest years in Malawi. He appeared on red carpets, sat front row at fashion presentations, and attended high-profile charity functions, concerts, and award ceremonies from a young age. Madonna worked hard to shield her children from excessive intrusion while still giving them structure and discipline. She balanced her demanding career with devoted parenthood, making certain all her children, including David, received excellent education at top-tier international schools that emphasize both academics and personal development. Stay with us as we reveal a distinctive side of David's personality. From early childhood, David Banda displayed a genuine love for soccer. He played with classmates during breaks, and it soon became obvious he possessed real ability. Raised in an environment rich with possibilities, he was encouraged to follow whatever interested him most, and soccer rapidly rose to the top of that list. Family members often saw him practicing with a ball, and his excitement for the game was unmistakable. Madonna, always attentive to her children's dreams, recognized his gift and treated it seriously. As his enthusiasm deepened, she arranged professional coaching and resources so he could hone his talent. She enrolled him in reputable youth clubs where qualified instructors could guide him. Beyond simply registering him, Madonna stayed actively involved despite her packed schedule. She frequently attended matches and training sessions, offering vocal support from the sidelines. David's soccer path took a major leap forward when the family relocated to Lisbon, Portugal, in 2017. Portugal boasts a deep football tradition and has produced many elite players, including the legendary Cristiano Ronaldo. The country offered ideal conditions for David to advance. Madonna moved primarily to place him in one of Europe's premier soccer environments. She secured his spot in the renowned Benfica Youth Academy, an institution famous for developing world-class talent. At Benfica, David trained alongside outstanding young athletes and received top-level instruction. The program supplied rigorous, professional-grade preparation and instilled the discipline needed for a serious athletic career. David thrived there, his technical abilities sharpened, and he absorbed the work ethic essential for long-term success. Though the academy demanded intense commitment, he managed to keep up with his schooling. Word of his progress spread. Journalists began covering the promising young player, not only for his on-field potential but also because of his well-known mother. Stories often highlighted Madonna's sacrifices, such as uprooting the family to Portugal, and the press quickly labeled her a devoted soccer mom. She accepted the nickname graciously and regularly posted proud updates about David's milestones on social media. Her support went further than cheering. She met routinely with coaches to track his development and learn how best to help. Still, public scrutiny brought difficulties. Every match and every mistake risked becoming headline material. Paparazzi trailed him, and the weight of expectations, as both Madonna's son and an emerging talent, could feel heavy. Some observers suggested his opportunities stemmed purely from celebrity privilege, yet David's effort and results proved otherwise. Training among equally ambitious peers at Benfica allowed him to carve out his own reputation based on merit. Coaches praised his skill, dedication, and love for the sport. The journey toward professional soccer remained challenging, but David stayed focused and kept pushing his limits. Before we move on, has David returned to Malawi since the adoption? Keep watching for the answer. From the very beginning, Madonna placed great importance on preserving David's link to his origins, though the public did not fully realize this for years. During that gap, rumors circulated, and even Johann momentarily worried that his son was being cut off from his heritage. In truth, Madonna understood how vital cultural identity was and wanted David to feel proud of his roots. One significant step came in 2016 when she brought the then 10-year-old back to Malawi. Prior to that visit, various troubling stories had surfaced. Some linked Madonna's personal life, her divorce and subsequent relationships with younger partners, to potential negative influences on David. Johann voiced concern and briefly suggested the boy should return to him. Those comments seemed to overlook the original reasons for the adoption: Johann's inability to care for a newborn alone while earning roughly €50 annually, leading him to seek orphanage placement for better prospects. Madonna herself remembered the early adoption period as exhausting. She once forgot to obtain a passport for the 13-month-old, causing a lengthy delay on the airport tarmac. At that tense moment, Johann stepped forward publicly, telling reporters he fully supported the process and that blocking it would harm his son's future. Madonna later compared the emotional strain to childbirth. When mother and son arrived in Malawi in 2016, the village chief, elders, and community greeted them warmly with singing and celebration. The day before had focused on Mercy James, but David's return stole the spotlight. Traditional dances were performed, including a special presentation by children from the local primary school David might have attended had he stayed. Johann treasured the reunion, introducing David to his 4 younger half-siblings, the youngest of whom was only 2.5 weeks old. In his own words, Johann said he could not express how happy those 4 hours with his son made him. He described David as polite, humble, and well-mannered, adding that the boy still considered Malawi home and intended to visit often. The trip eased Johann's earlier anxieties, which had grown during Madonna's divorce and reports of her dating younger men. Lifestyle choices he felt clashed with Malawian family values. After hugging his son and seeing the obvious affection between David and Madonna, Johann told reporters he had only praise for her and felt completely reassured. He even noted that Madonna had promised David would return to Malawi once his education was complete. Growing up as Madonna's adopted son has meant that David Banda has spent nearly his entire life under media observation. From toddlerhood onward, cameras and reporters have tracked his activities. Being part of one of the most recognizable families on earth could overwhelm many people, yet David has learned to navigate the attention and even use it to his advantage, especially in the age of social platforms. The press fascination began immediately after the 2006 adoption announcement. Headlines circled the globe, and curiosity about the little boy's new life was intense. Early coverage centered on the legal battles and Madonna's motives. As he grew, interest shifted toward how well he fit into the family and how he was developing individually. Privacy was scarce. Ordinary childhood milestones became topics for public debate. Media portrayals have swung between admiration and skepticism. Many stories celebrated the positive transformation, his soccer passion, worldwide travel, and opportunities. Others questioned whether constant fame might hinder normal growth. The mother-son bond, however, has always been clear. Madonna frequently voices pride in David through posts and interviews, acting as both parent and guide through the challenges of celebrity while urging him to remain authentic. In recent years, David has begun shaping his own public presence. Like most of his generation, he uses Instagram from time to time to share personal glimpses, training sessions, fashion choices, musical moments, offering followers a direct, unfiltered view rather than secondhand narratives. David Banda is now a young adult. Let us look at where he stands today. In his late teenage years, David is blending the advantages of his unique upbringing with his own goals and dreams. Although much of his childhood unfolded in the public eye, he is stepping confidently into maturity, chasing interests that excite him. Beyond athletics, he has displayed clear enthusiasm for fashion and the arts. He regularly accompanies Madonna to major events and often catches attention with daring, stylish outfits. Whether walking red carpets at the Grammys or appearing at charity galas, David's fashion sense, eclectic and confident, echoes his mother's iconic influence while feeling distinctly his own. He has spoken openly about loving clothing and music, hinting at possible future paths in those worlds. Most recently, on September 8, 2024, David made his runway debut at the Off-White Spring 2025 presentation during New York Fashion Week. He followed the example set by his older sister Lourdes, who has walked for several luxury houses. Dressed in a plaid vest, black pleated trousers, bold earrings, gloves, and flip-flops, David, now also establishing himself as a musician, moved confidently before a crowd that included Camila Cabello, Issa Rae, and Olympic gymnast Suni Lee. Back in August 2022, while visiting The Tonight Show, Madonna told Jimmy Fallon that David inherited her fashion flair. That same year, paparazzi photographed him wearing a replica of the famous Adidas dress she wore in 1993. Madonna laughed that he could make any outfit look effortlessly cool, admitting it was slightly annoying how well he wore her clothes, even dresses. She also revealed that David had begun creating music and predicted he would one day appear as a guest on Fallon's program. After touring with Madonna on her Celebration tour, performing nightly as both guitarist and dancer, David launched his newest project. He announced on Instagram the start of online guitar lessons open to everyone from absolute beginners to experienced players. He invited students to bring their instruments and explore chords, scales, and techniques together in a relaxed, enjoyable setting. He encouraged newcomers not to feel intimidated, insisting the classes were about shared musical joy regardless of skill level. Bookings were open through September, with one-on-one sessions priced at $200 per hour. The terms required a 5-lesson package totaling $1,000. Given the glowing words Madonna has shared about his determination, most observers expect David to thrive in this venture. On multiple occasions, Madonna has spoken admiringly of his drive. In a 2019 British Vogue interview, she remarked that David possesses extraordinary focus and willpower, traits she believes he inherited from her. Reflecting on their connection, she said he feels more like her in spirit than any of her other children, as though he carries more of her essential nature. What are your thoughts about David and his relationship with Madonna? Do you feel he truly shares more of her personality than her biological children? Please share your views in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Before you leave, tap the video appearing on your screen.